So it seems that now we have some sort of racial profiling going around in Arizona. It makes you really think of what really is going to happen to the future generations, that's going to be born, when they're going to think back and realize how stupid was it to really blame a certain race for how bad a country's doing in their economical state. And it seems that a lot of people would assume that an immigrant is a short brown man with brown hair and brown eyes that likes to say, arriba, arriba, órale, vato, you know, and you would not really, put yourself to think. Immigrants come from all over, it's worldwide. There's Canadian immigrants, Australian immigrants, African immigrants, Asian immigrants who live here. And most of them actually work much more than Americans would. You will look at an Asian person that comes from a different country, and even though they have, legally they are allowed here, you'll see how hard they work at school to get educated, and if they even get a job, they're somehow capable of getting the job. They will work really hard. Immigrants have been working much, much more harder than us people of my generation, you know, than, they've been working more than we ever will work. Our parents work much harder than we will ever work to get what we have. Some of you, have houses, we're able to buy houses and even have businesses, you know, that's really hard work. And they all were immigrants, or most of our parents were immigrants. This country, ironically, was built on immigration, you know. So, in Arizona, I don't know what's going on. I mean, is it the white supremacists that are really trying to, get this whole idea of that, Mexicans are the reason why the country is doing real bad because of immigrants? If you think about it, immigrants are the main reason why the United States has money. We work for anything. I'm not Mexican. I'm Hispanic, but not Mexican. But any immigrant in this country is the reason why America was able to reach that humongous state of stardom in the worldwide, popularity of what is the biggest, strongest nation in the world, the United States, because of immigrants. Back in the World War One and World War Two, even though it might not be fully documented, a lot of black people were actually in the front line fighting. Makes you think really how they're not really described and told, in our history books, but they were. Okay, they were brought here by, because England went to Africa and they traded slaves for, I'm not quite sure, treasures or goods, whatever. They were traded. Okay, they were traded, and they were brought here to the United States and England, to be slaves. But they technically are immigrants. They were immigrants technically because they were not born here. Okay, but they worked real hard. Even though they were under slavery, they worked hard. And same with every immigrant that comes here in the United States, they work real hard. Just because a few morons go around and, they come from a different country and they're criminals doesn't mean that the whole actual ethnicity is, they're criminals. As I recall, the first person to be able to migrate here illegally and steal the land was Columbus, right? With Maria, Santa Maria, and all them boats, whatever they had, all the Spanish name. It was a Spaniard, Christopher Columbus. Or I think he was Spaniard or English, whatever, British, whatever. But, I mean, he was an immigrant. He didn't live here. As a matter of fact, he went to rape and kill all the Native Americans. Throughout the whole timeline that humans have existed, immigration was a big thing. As Native Americans came from the Asian region of the Cambodian part, I'm just speaking out of my head quickly. I believe it was from the Cambodian and the darker Asians were the ones that migrated, since Alaska was connected at one point to Asia. So I think Alaska, and all those Eskimo things. I'm not quite sure on that part. But I mean, back to the racial issue. Really, do we really have to do racial profiling? Isn't that unconstitutional? Really? Isn't that kind of illegal to do that? It's something my boss told me today about, racial profiling actually. And it's funny because he's around 60 years old. He's an pretty old guy, really humble guy. And he, in his younger days, asked, I think, a cop, what does an immigrant look like? And the immigrant basically defined a short, dark-skinned, brown-haired-eyed person. That's an immigrant. But I mean, really? So I guess the white Hispanics can get away with that because they don't look like, a typical immigrant. Immigrants come from all over the world, buddy. So really, honestly, what can be done about this racial profiling? That it's already, I think the mayor already signed it or whatever. It's already signed. It's already, gonna take effect. But what can really be done for all these racial issues to be, stopped? How can the world actually realize that race is not should not be a big difference? It should not really separate us. As a matter of fact, it should bring us all together. Each different culture, actually, in the end, if you really look closely at what we all have in the, even religion, all that stuff, in the end, it all leads up to one conclusion. We all want better for our family. We all worship or believe. All religions, all ethnicities worship or believe some type of god or gods, and they all try to have good morals, and they all try to work real hard and dedicate themselves to the family. That's most, okay? You know, so why are we attacking each other? Or why is this country still filled with that sort of idiotic ignorance? I mean, I know the white supremacists still exist, but that should not be a matter. That should not really affect any sort of laws that are made in the United States, especially. You would think that now that the United States, we're supposed to be one of the most highly educated people. I guess we're not. We will know race is not a big situation, not a big deal. People should get together, but no, they're all, right now. I mean, it's a stupid thing. I know it's really stupid, and what can be done? You guys tell me what are you guys doing to make this a better situation? You know, Here, let me tell you a little example how stupid racism is. I mean, me and my girlfriend went the other day to a Thai barbecue. My girlfriend's Asian, and we go in and we realize that this one guy goes in, actually comes out, and he's a Korean guy, and he's really upset. I was wondering why is he really upset, and I didn't know why, and he starts cussing, right? And he's saying, "I'm not gonna sit with these motherfucking not this and that." He starts cussing and everything, and I'm like, "Oh no!" He had a I band, you know. So I was wondering maybe there were gangsters up there or something. Well, they see us in the back where he was actually sitting, and it was all these Hispanic people, right? And I assume they were Mexican. Okay, I assume they're Mexican because they're speaking with that slang. Each Hispanic culture has a sort of slang. Again, I'm not Mexican, but I grew up with a lot of them, and they start staring at me and my girlfriend. And I'm wondering, are you really, really dogging my girlfriend because she's Asian and she's with a Hispanic guy and you're eating in an Asian restaurant? I mean, isn't that kind of ironic? You are basically being racist in an Asian restaurant because an Asian is sitting here and you're all Hispanic. It was kind of weird because they were all sitting in the back and it was pure Hispanics. And makes me think, really? Are you really gonna be racist towards me and my girlfriend because she's Asian and I'm Hispanic and I'm with an Asian girl? Are you really gonna do that? Are you gonna keep staring at me? Do you want me to pop that eye? Is that eye being a problem with you? So it's very stupid. We're in a time where we all should be much more smarter and, respect one another. That being different is not a bad thing. We should all be brought together by love. We should all be brought together by the things we all want. But we're not. And it really annoys me. I grew up with racism, in my elementary school, middle school. So, I don't know. I just hope everything changes and all that, all this situation gets better because honestly, this is really stupid. Really stupid. So you guys tell me, what do you think about the Arizona racial profiling stuff? I mean, I know it's illegal. It is illegal. It's unconstitutional, but it still happened. Why? Why was it still accepted? Do you really think immigrants are the reason why our country is bad economically and in a bad state? Well, I want everyone to give me a comment on that. I want you guys to state your opinion, what you think. You guys, have any experience, any racial experiences? When something racial happens, let me know. Comment, rate. It doesn't matter, baby, if you're black or white.